WMAL, this is the Saturday Morning Update, and the headlines dominating the news: foreclosures, the housing market, mortgages, and we are joined by Dena Roudybush. She is with Compliance Counsel. We've had Dena on before. We're always flooded with emails, Dena, after you join us, and it's good to have you back with us again.
Thank you for having me again.
Now, you are an attorney, and you have actually worked with mortgage lenders, mortgage companies, private equity firms. Now you're on the side of the homeowner and the consumer. And when you look at these headlines, attorney generals in all 50 states, according to Forbes, now initiating a joint investigation into foreclosure procedures. 102,134 homes repossessed in September. That is the first time in a single month that number has exceeded 100,000. But the question to you is, if somebody is facing foreclosure or has had a foreclosure, is there any way to tell if they're part of this robo-signing or outsourcing of unread documents being signed? Is there any way you could tell that?
It would be very difficult for a homeowner on their own to ascertain whether or not they've been the victim of this. I'll tell you what our firm does. We obtain a title search, and we compare land records with the foreclosing documents provided by the trustee. The trustee is the entity or the law firm that forecloses on property. They're required to send documents to the homeowner. We compare the two, and most clients that come to our firm, there's a discrepancy. There's no assignment in land records to that entity that the trustee claims now holds the homeowner's note. But it's very difficult for the homeowner because they also don't have a repertoire of signatures to compare their loan documents to or their foreclosure documents to. We do. Foreclosing defense litigators make those minute comparisons, the signatures, the notaries, the dates. All of those things come into play when we're talking about foreclosure defense litigation.
When you have 50 attorneys general getting together to investigate, how serious is this going to become for some of the major lenders and all the people in that process? I mean, if there are actually forged documents and affidavits that have been forged, I mean, are we talking about people getting disbarred? Are we talking about serious litigation? Are we talking about jail time?
You named it all. It's very, very bad. You can do a simple search and you will see across the country lawsuits filed by attorney generals. We now have, when we have all the attorney generals in the country probing an investigation into the fraud, it's serious enough that Bank of America has suspended foreclosures in all 50 states. When in the history of our country has that ever happened? It's very bad. We have law firms being sued, the law firms that are allegedly pushing these foreclosures through quickly, through shortcuts, not having accurate signatures, signing on behalf of lenders when they have, it's obviously a forgery. So we have lawsuits, we have investigations, and it's a big mess.
All right, now we've been talking about foreclosures. What about loan modifications? People try to get loan modifications. Often they're denied. What kind of recourse would somebody have there?
That's the sad aspect of this. There is no recourse. The only recourse possible, and that you'll see the new litigation, is if they're eligible for HAMP and the lender is refusing to review their modification request for HAMP and they proceed to foreclosure. But for most homeowners, there's no recourse. That's the real problem. The lender can throw your request in the trash, and what can you do? Nothing. But look where it got us. Homeowners can't pay, foreclosures are rising.
So what impact will all of the controversy and the investigations into the general foreclosure issue, what impact is that going to have on the issuance of loan modifications?
Now that there is so much attention on the fraud, on the rising foreclosure rates, a homeowner, again, going in without an attorney, very, very difficult. Now what's happening is homeowner goes to an attorney contacts the lender, files a lawsuit, or threatens to file a lawsuit. Voila, here comes the loan mod. The problem with the homeowner going through the traditional process, it takes up to a year, and they're submitting the same documents repeatedly over and over, and most people give up at that point. The foreclosure rate, the investigations, the suspension of foreclosures, I think that more modifications will finally be reviewed, really reviewed, rather than ignored. How we get there, I still think that it takes an attorney to push it there. That's the reality. It's a sad reality because there are so many homeowners desperate to seek a loan modification, have been requesting a loan modification for literally for a year. And at some point, they either can truly no longer afford it or just give up. There's a new process that the investors have initiated, and that's let's offer a trial modification and have the homeowner make these trial payments. Well, guess what? That's no guarantee for a final modification. And most times, they're denied a modification, in our experience, the clients that come to our firm. So the homeowner's faced with the unfortunate position of, do I make that trial payment? Are they really extorting more money? Or do I need to do this to really be considered for a final loan modification?
What kind of things, without breaching any confidentiality, what kind of things are you working on right now for homeowners?
My favorite case, which it really touches me personally. A client came to me, 87 years old, has lived in her home for over 30 years. She was finally, after a year, granted a loan modification. Unfortunately, the February snowstorm, she wasn't able to return it in the short, limited period. They ultimately foreclosed. She came to me after the foreclosure. I filed suit, and here, where we are today, attorney for the investor has come to me to request that we work out an agreement. The investor does not want to go through litigation, and they're finally going to really give her that loan modification. At
least somebody's standing up for him. And Dena Roudybush, always great to have you with us. You're at Compliance Counsel, and if somebody wants to ask you some questions, get a hold of you, what's the best way to do it?
703-261-7097, or they can go to our website, saveyourhouselawyer.com.
Dena, thank you so much for being with us. Dena Roudybush.
Thank you for having me.